Damn, there's a Jonah Hex McFarlane figure. These are
Really?
like mini statues for $30 though.
I know. Yeah, it was real good work.
But 8 accessories.
Mm-hmm. Keep it in the package.
Mm-hmm. 8 accessories in the package. That's awesome.
I thought Jonah Hex was still kind of dead from the movie.
McFarlane's doing every one of those DC characters, so they're digging deep.
Yeah, I guess so. That's cool.
We should do like a history of McFarlane toys because that's interesting.
That'd be super fun. Yeah, with how he
I
made
don't
those
think anybody's
deals.
done that. Yeah.
How he finally got in on the floor of baseball also.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then sports and just in general. Yeah. Well, I'll be excited when he gets to the man thing.
What man thing?
I don't
He's
know.
got the Marvel one. That's right. He's got the Marvel license.
Is he gonna get out a man thing before
I
that
don't
is up?
know. They've only announced that he's doing the figures. They haven't announced like the waves of what's happening.
Yeah.
That's
I
right.
guess that's true. But yeah, he's coming up on that. He's gonna get started.
Yeah.
And man thing better happen pretty soon. I'm down.
I have this swamp thing that's really cool right here.
Oh hell yeah! Is it McFarlane?
No.
Hmm.
It's at least I don't think it is. It's a tiny figure though. It's G.I. Joe sized.
Did I ever get Swamp Thing and Man Thing together in anything? Any kind of crossover? Oh yeah, that's sweet. Oh, it's Injustice
It's Injustice 2, the swamp
version.
thing. Yeah, it's got a base and everything. I should really open this. I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't think so either. That's a shame. They could
Did you
have.
see the
They were doing crossovers in the '90s. They were doing crossovers in the early 2000s, weren't they?
Yeah, a
DC,
bunch
DC.
of yeah, a bunch of them.
When did Amalgam happen? Oh, in the '90s,
Yeah.
late '90s.
Yeah, late
I don't know.
90s, like 94, 95, somewhere in there.
Mid '90s. Yeah.
Yeah, mid 90s.
Should have done a Swamp Thing Man Thing, and it kind of would have been the same thing. Like it wouldn't
I
have
want
been
those
much of a mashup, I guess.
there's a DC Comics Presents and there's Brave and the Bold with Swamp Thing. And it's just Swamp Thing fucking with Superman and Batman.
Oh, awesome.
Like just straight up lying to him just to get whatever he needs done for the green.
Sweet. I don't think we have a song or anything to bring in.
Yeah, we did, didn't we?
You. Okay.
There.
Oh, we have this old thing. I'm not gonna do that right now.
Yeah.
Now I remember. Now I'm getting back into it.
At the
We'll have to work on that.
crossroads of movies and comics,
Oh yeah.
two mediums meet.
We'll have to work on that.
That's a good one. What is it?
It is good. Yeah. That guy kind of vanished. That guy that I got to do that voiceover.
Yeah. Did he?
He was. I don't know. He was around for a while, and he was trying to get like a actual voiceover career going, and he was doing podcasts, and then I don't know what happened to him.
Mm,
I haven't seen him pop around too much.
got a
He's all right.
corporate
Hope
job.
he's doing good. That's all. I also got to figure out on StreamYard how to work these like intro messages that show up when we go live.
Yeah. Have
Currently,
you?
currently it literally says Frank Welker Wonder Hour is now live. Welcome to the show. Please follow, like, and subscribe.
I just need to edit that one word
Whoops.
or the name. Have you tried to log into the TikTok live through StreamYard?
No.
I just
I
saw a
have not.
video about that on
Have
TikTok.
you tried? Yeah.
No, because,
Well,
I
StreamYard has portrait video settings now as well.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really doing the integration for the phones.
Mhm. And
But no, I haven't because
Instagram
I
and
don't have a StreamYard account. I just and then I was under the
dude, you could do you're part of it just as much as I am, and you could do it. I don't understand.
oh well. Also, the other limitation I think is that you have to have at least 1,000 followers on
Oh,
TikTok
okay.
to
Well,
go
that's something
live.
else.
So I haven't even been able to try it. I couldn't
So
try it if I wanted to. But
you
I'm
must be.
almost there.
Yeah, I was gonna say you must be pretty close
I'm
if you're
at
not there.
943.
Hmm.
So almost. Maybe a few more videos. But I did get approved for the TikTok shop, so I can add my own merchandise to that thing, and then um, it'll display on my profile.
Have you ever looked into the Walmart shop?
Yeah, I was doing that next, but Walmart wants you to
Mm,
jump through a lot of hoops, and
I bet. I can imagine it's
I
probably
yeah,
more hairy than it's worth.
and I think I blowed through books. It just adds like another layer of just like complication to it because
Yeah.
I sell books so quickly that I'd have to go through all the social media platforms to remove it if it sells on one thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for
And
sure.
so, like, I don't know.
Spread too thin.
Yeah, I don't want to be spread too thin. You know. But I did get on. I have been uploading to Google, like you had suggested. That hasn't. They're not displaying it, and I don't know why. I think maybe we have to have a certain amount of search results or something.
So, did you see on Google that you could upload pictures as an item?
I think that's how I was doing the
Like, you could upload a photo, but you could also upload product.
Yeah,
And
I've
there are
been
two
uploading product,
different. Okay.
but they're not displaying it, and I don't know why
So,
they don't display.
is there anywhere that it says that there's pending?
Let's see, edit products. It doesn't. No, I only got four
Sometimes,
things listed there.
sometimes if you're on your control page, you could look at the pictures that you've uploaded, and the little picture in the bottom corner, it'll say pending or something.
Yeah, and I think I remember that when I uploaded them
Uh huh.
originally, but now it's not.
And I learned. Did I tell you that I had to like with through Google, I had to verify that I was the
Yeah,
owner of Power Up with
yeah.
this video.
Yeah, you told me about that. All kinds of
Yeah,
different shit they have you doing.
yeah, like I had to bring Amy with me to hold the camera, and I had to like unlock the door and walk into the shop and open the register, like all this shit. And then they're like, "Okay, you're legit." But until I did that, they were not pushing my photos through.
My photos have come
So like
through, but the
when
products
I
have.
looked, yeah, that's what I mean. My products, they were not pushing. They
Oh,
weren't letting me do products, basically. So I was able to upload a photo, or even like Amy, as like just a general Google user, could go on and upload her own photo as a photo, but product, nope.
wow.
That was only for verified blah 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 or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, then I haven't seen anywhere. I'm looking now. I'm trying to find out if there's an area that says like you verify with this video, that video.
Yeah, yeah. So like when they wanted me to do
Oh,
it, it
it's
was a big bold banner across the top that was like, "You need to verify."
oh, I didn't get that
Like,
banner.
like it was hard to miss. I couldn't even see it or something. It was there when I Googled like my own business name.
Yeah, it tells me add photos of your interior.
To verify further,
It doesn't
to
say to
further.
verify. It's just complete your profile.
Mhm.
I didn't get like verify now or anything. It just says, yeah, profile strength, and it's got a little wheel, and it's just complete info. Yeah. But I think it's because I set it as an online business instead of a retail shop.
Oh, that very well could be.
Yeah.
very well could be. But then why would they be holding back product posting? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So like when I search and it just comes up right on Google, use. Oh, that's right. My camera's over here.
Ah, there it is. Yeah.
You know, it was just right there at the top.
Oh,
It was like right there. I didn't have to go anywhere to see it. It was like verify your account
fine.
to unlock further blah blah blah. Yeah, it
Blah blah
doesn't say.
blah.
Uh-huh. And I was
Oh,
like, okay, yeah. And I went through the
oh.
I don't
You
know.
went through all the hoops they had you jumping through.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I have
Hey,
to do this in a bit. I'm just
yeah.
stacking on
Okay.
things I have to do today. Ah.
Give me fuck. One of those days, huh?
Yeah, that's been since yesterday. And then yesterday I couldn't do shit because I couldn't even sit down right. I was having hemorrhoid fucking problems flared up.
Holy hell. At
And
least you
that
got
was painful.
power and internet.
Yeah. Yeah, internet barely.
Barely. All
Barely.
right. Um,
Speed
I'll be
test.
back in a couple minutes. Hang on.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Why did I do this? Dude, people love this shit. We got to bring it. People
Jurassic
are,
Park? Yeah.
no, like, just these movies and just the whole, like, movies as comics idea.
Mm-hmm. They eat it up.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we get the like, out of, like, all the shows and all the social media posting, like, I always get the most response from anything movies as comics related. Like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
whenever I get around to posting anything, like, all of a sudden it's like comments, strangers, likes,
Wow.
people popping up.
Hold on one second. There's this Saharan dust that's kicking my ass right now.
Your eyes aren't turning blue or anything, are they?
Mm-mm. Why? What? I don't get it.
I don't know. They got the spice
Oh,
out
the
there.
dust of the spice. The spice.
Yeah.
Not yet.
If anything is like Dune, it's the Sahara,
Oh.
I guess.
Good
Okay.
background. Wait. Okay. So we're doing just the book. I mean, sorry, just the comic. Maybe mention
Yeah.
the book, but we're
Yeah, we'll
focusing
talk
on the
about
okay.
we'll talk about the movie, but we're not going to be like the movie was released in 1993, directed by Steven Spielberg,
The whole
starring
time I was
Laura
wondering.
Dern. Like,
Laura
we're
Dern. Laura Dern.
Dern.
The whole time I was wondering like how the release of the comic coincided with the release of either the theatrical
Did you?
release or
Ooh, did you look up those dates? I hope so.
no. I'll do
Oh,
it
let's look
now.
them up on the show.
Yeah, let's do
Yeah.
it.
I feel like this was something that came out like just before the movie was released. Like, you could have got this 4 weeks before the movie came out or something. You know what I mean?
They had the movie. They obviously had the movie because costumes are the same, dialogue is the same.
I mean, a little bit. I mean, okay, let's get
Okay,
into
let's
this.
go.
Okay.
Let's go. June 9th.
Hello. I was just gonna do it. Okay, hang
Oh,
on. I'm gonna do it for
oh.
real. Ready? Hello, and welcome back to a new episode of Movies as Comics. I'm Ozzy, and with me, of course, as always, is Henry from Black Market Comics.
Howdy.
That's right. And we're here today covering Jurassic Park, the official movie adaptation of the Steven Spielberg film. Because what we do here on Movies as Comics is we look at comics that were adapted from movies, and then we review those comics. Let you know how they stack up next to their film counterpart. And yeah, Jurassic Park. I'm ready for this. You know what? I'm in Northern Illinois, and it is hot and stormy as fuck, and I'm
Oh, it's
sweltering. And
really?
yeah, man, and I am just like, it's so muggy, but it makes me feel like I'm maybe on the Isle New Bar or whatever.
Isla Nubar. Isla
Isla New
Nubar.
Bar.
Side A.
Yeah. So I'm getting that tropical feeling coursing through my pores. It's just sweat. It's just
It's
immense amounts of sweat coursing through my
it's
pores.
104 over here.
Fuck.
What's the humidity like?
That's illegal. That should be illegal.
62% humidity.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah. Does your hat help? Does your safari hat, I think, probably help a little
Surprisingly,
bit?
like now I understand why those big game hunters wore these. So
It works for me. Yeah.
from the audio standpoint, I'm wearing one. What do you call these? Like a safari hat, a
Isn't it was
great white
it's not like a
hunter?
it's like a pith hat. It's not like a pith hat because those are the ones
Those are
with
the
no
ones that,
brim, right? With
yeah,
the spike.
the spike. Yeah, the pith.
Like a fucking, I don't know what those safari hats are called. I think they're called safari hats.
It might be safari hats.
No?
And we're doing it. I'm rocking.
We're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know what? If I told you the real name, you wouldn't be able to picture it in your head. You know what I mean?
It's one of those, yeah.
But as soon as I say it's a safari hat, you'd be like, "Oh yeah, 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 yeah." Uh huh.
Mm-hmm.
No, as a matter
Where's
of
my
fact,
elephant gun?
And as a matter of fact, I just Googled safari hat and no, none of these. Oh, it is a pith hat.
Oh, it is a pith hat?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because here's a wicker one I'm looking at right now. Looks like
This one's
yours.
of pretty good quality. Look at the folding work right here on the hat band,
Ooh, very
but it's
nice.
old. I don't know why, but it's old.
Pith hat. Yeah, it is. Safari pith helmet. Yep. Fun.
Fun, good times all
I
around.
wouldn't know anything about it because I don't murder defenseless, large, endangered animals.
I dressed up for an audio podcast.
Yes, yes, yes.
Uh-huh.
Fun. Everyone cannot see what you're doing right now at all.
I'm making the I'm making the most handsome faces I can.
hmm
Duck lips.
We we could tell people anything, by the way. We could
Mhm,
tell
I'm
them that
very
you're
attractive.
dressed. Henry showed up in full-on Muldoon attire.
Clever girl.
Clever girl. All right, dude. Jurassic Park. Have you ever heard of this movie?
Vaguely,
Okay.
in
Yeah. Good.
passing, you
Right.
know.
Yeah. It's only natural that it gets a comic book compendium, wouldn't you
Oh, of
say?
course.
It's only
Several.
natural that it. Yeah, several. Oh, by the way, we're just doing, of course, the straight up adaptation. But didn't this series Jurassic Park didn't Tops carry on Jurassic Park for a little bit? And
Tops and then I think IDW.
oh, okay, yeah.
The more modern ones are, I think, under IDW. They pick up all those licenses. But I'm surprised that it wasn't a bigger deal. There are a billion Transformers comics right now on the stands. There's a
Mhm.
billion GI Joes. Image
Mhm.
has picked those up. There's a million Godzillas, blah blah blah. But Jurassic Park, you've only got the Tops release
Mhm.
and then the IDW stuff that came later, which is all probably before Jurassic World anyway,
Was it? Yeah.
from what I've
Well, I
seen in
haven't.
my research.
Nah, there hasn't been a Jurassic Park comic on my radar in a long, long time.
Was there ever
Of course,
though?
no, you're right.
I mean, because honestly, the
No, good
release
call.
of
A good
this,
point.
yeah, the release of this, I'm pretty sure was a long way off from the original theatrical release that happened in '93.
Well, this is
Um,
credit. This is 93.
it does say that '93,
Yeah,
uh, because like the VHS release was a year later, wasn't it?
absolutely. It was more than a year later, and I
Mhm.
remember every minute that I had to wait for that thing to get released.
You pre-ordered it?
Oh yeah, I pre-ordered it as soon as I could, and I
Uh-huh.
just watched the clock for like a fucking year
Uh-huh.
just slowly tick by till I could go get that movie. Oh boy, I remember the excitement that coursed through my body when I got the phone call from fucking Max Video or wherever the fuck the old video store was that said it was there. I got my neighbor friend Chris. We got on our bikes and rode over there so fast, like our legs were gonna fall off.
Stopping traffic and everything.
And yeah, I was so excited when I got the tape in my hand. I think we like jumped around like it was one of those classic like hold hands in the middle and like jump in circles with joy. Me and my friend. We took it home and watched it just
Is there anything
for
now
the
that would
rest
do
of the
that?
day. For the rest of the day, on repeat.
Is
And
there anything that you would
uh, I'm.
be that excited about right
You
now?
mean like child me? Like if I was because this came out in '92. This movie '92,
It was like
right?
92, yeah.
I was a
93,
10-year
sorry,
old.
June 10th, June
Okay, I
11th.
was like 11 when this came out, which is like fucking perfect.
Mhm.
So are you saying like if I was 11 and something was out today, what would it be? No, no,
No.
it's not because this was something special for the time. I mean, we're so oversaturated these days in the movies with spectacle.
Yeah. They're all theme park rides. Yep.
Yeah, so no, no. and
You would have
and
been
the put
desensitized?
yeah, I think so. That's a good term that works.
Okay.
Desensitized, right?
Yeah, I think so. That's the
It's
way
just
I
not.
feel.
It's just not as special because it's
Yeah.
not. It's just so available. You
Yeah.
know. And
The
this
and
movie, God, when
yeah,
I first saw it, it was fucking
yeah,
life changing. I
yeah.
remember my dad took me to go see it. Um, during the summer, I guess, whenever it was out, and it was one of those movies that literally like changed my life and like how I viewed the world. Like it was that kind of thing. And I know I'm not the only one. I know that there are 100 billion people out there that have the same story. But because at this time it was really pushing boundaries, you know?
Yeah. It did the same thing for me. It kind of like introduced me to reading because as soon
Cool.
as I had seen the movie, I was like, well, there's a book and I can read this book.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much the comic though, because I think there was a gap.
Hmm.
I'm not sure. Let me just look in there.
Well,
I think
you were picking up comics during that time, and I
90,
wasn't
yeah.
really.
Started in 90.
I totally wasn't. So I mean, I was at that age. I was even like reading, you know, still when I was like 11 or 12. I didn't really catch on to reading for joy till a little later in life, actually, unless it was Calvin and Hobbes.
Yeah. Yeah. At the library. Yeah. I got that.
Yeah,
Everybody did
or
that.
kids or poet. You know, I like reading those kids. You know, read some Goosebumps and read some Shel Silverstein and stuff like that. But other than that, I wasn't reading too much, honestly. I was
This
playing
was
video games. I definitely
yeah.
had the video game. I definitely had the Jurassic Park on Sega Genesis,
I had on NES.
which is a big mess of a game. You had it on NES?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck, dude, that was the dying. That was must have been the death rattle of the NES. Is Jurassic Park coming out, right?
What were the last games for the NES?
Dude, that had to have been on that list.
Probably there, yeah.
I bet. Like when '93, you know.
Yeah.
When did the last NES game come out?
96 or something. That's
Are you?
something
You
crazy.
got to be kidding
I'm not
me.
joking. No.
I'm gonna find out.
Let's just Google that. While you Google that, I saw it in theaters. My parents took me because I was all into dinosaurs, and there was nothing really like it at the time. As far from a movie standpoint, you know, my dinosaur consumption came from either visiting a museum or books, little kids' books, flashcards, all kinds of weird dinosaur shit.
Cool. By the way, the last officially licensed Nintendo Entertainment System game was The Lion King. Actually, got ported onto NES as well.
Whoa!
And that was
Shut
in.
up.
I know, right? And that was in 1995.
95. I told you it was like 95, 96, somewhere in there.
Oh
Yeah.
wait, then this other thing says the very last game released for the NES was Wario's Woods
Wario's Wood sounds familiar.
in December '94
Oh.
and August '95 in Europe. Anyway, so 94, 95 was they were done.
I found a timeline.
I don't even remember. I don't even remember. I know I was very much into dinosaurs also as a young boy, but I don't even remember Jurassic Park being a thing until my dad was basically like, "Come on, we're going to see this movie," and I'm like, "What movie?" He's like, "You'll see when you get there," basically.
I
So
saw a trailer.
I went in very blind, dude. But even if you saw that trailer, do you remember the Jurassic Park trailer?
Nope. Not at all.
It was enough because nothing was in it. It was basically like a teaser. I bet you could bring it up real quick, but it was
I have it here, yeah.
it was basically like 60 million years in the making, like all these text pieces coming up, and you hear orchestra hits, gum,
Yeah.
gum, and then
I've
these
got it
text
here if you want
pieces.
to.
Okay, let's check it out.
Share.
Yeah. Oh, they show the Gallimimus running. They show a couple shots, but like not that much, really.
Volume. I don't know about.
Or maybe I'm thinking of like the teaser that happened.
I found a timeline for all the releases too, by the way, so we can talk about that.
Oh no, yeah.
Of time, man has searched the earth for evidence.
This is
of
nothing,
its past.
really. You know.
Yeah.
But while some have looked for clues to the mystery,
I'm surprised it's
one
not that
man
regular
has
movie
found
guy
the
that
way
usually does these
to bring
voiceovers
I
in the
know.
early 90s.
This was the beginning of the end of that guy.
I own an island
Oh, wow.
off the coast of Costa Rica, and I spent the last 5 years setting up a kind of
They tell these dudes, hey, we're going to spend
biological
6 months
Here,
filming this movie in
on
Hawaii.
this private
Down?
island, science has defied evolution.
Where do you get 100 million-year-old dinosaur blood?
Genetics has mastered creations.
We've
That's
made
great. That guy's got such a
living
dopey face.
biological attractions so astounding that they'll capture the imagination
Goldblum.
of the entire
Sorry,
planet.
Goldblum and Elliot.
Extinction.
I can't stop thinking about Event Horizon every time I
Is
see
a
Sam
thing
Elliott,
of
though.
the past.
Most people think Jurassic Park. I don't.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
What they got in there, King Kong?
Sam
None of these
Jackson,
attractions are ready yet, of course, but
Sam
the
Jackson,
park
yeah.
will open with
Not
the basic
Sam
tour
Elliott,
you're
not
about
like-
to take.
the dude.
Dude,
You see something?
Dinosaurs.
do you have to
and
cuss so much?
Two
You
species
have to
separated
cuss so
by
much.
65 million years of evolution.
Whatever
Just
happened
suddenly
to the kids?
thrown back into the mix?
They
Are they
died.
still actors?
Can I
They
touch
died?
it?
Oh.
How can we possibly have
Yeah, the toxic
slightest
paint on
idea?
those rubber dinosaurs killed them. Poisoned their
It's an
blood.
electrical accident. Have you heard that story about film? And they couldn't get the dinosaur to work right because of the rain?
Oh yeah.
Fences are failing all over the park.
Windows 98. No, wait, no, it's 93.
that's nice.
Phones are out
Oh, they're
too.
fun. They're
Gotta go.
showing a little more than I remember.
They are. I think this might have been like probably
I can't
not
get
the teaser,
Jurassic
but like
Park back online.
what
Full
the already
trailer, yeah.
65 million years in the making.
that shot.
Well, oh yeah,
A lot of these, and you can say that over and over again about them. We said
that
we
shot,
were going to
that
talk
shot. Yeah, I know, right?
and here we
Yeah.
are.
All major theme parks
It's a
have
great
delays. When they opened
Well,
Disneyland
Jesus
in
Christ.
1956, nothing worked.
There's that Jello shake. I still do that Jello shake to this day.
tourists.
You sure we're safe?
Yes. I must have
Okay.
figured out how to open doors.
So
Jurassic
there we go.
Park.
3 minutes long for a trailer. That's
No shit.
long.
This must have been like this must have been the trailer that you would have seen theatrically, like if you went to the movies. Well, the ones that they played on TV like didn't show as much. Not nearly. Yeah.
So I have the timeline.
So I didn't remember it, and also like I mean, if I'm just seeing some trailers on TV, they might not be piquing my interest as much as a kid. They might not
That's
be
why-
grabbing my attention right away.
I was the opposite.
But sitting in the theater, like you can't help but be immersed. I mean, like I said, they push technology in like, animatronics and CGI and all that stuff,
Mhm.
but also they push technology in the audio experience.
Mm-hmm.
Like no one had ever heard shit like that with the T-Rex roaring through
Yeah.
like fucking like 14-point speakers or something that went around the theater. Like they had to design new new theater speaker systems to make it work what they designed here. Like,
Wow.
yeah. And like you never heard sound like that in a movie before Jurassic Park.
I was
And all that
watching.
all that stuff adds up. That's it makes for the full experience.
Yeah.
It's part of it.
I was watching trailers. That's the only reason why I knew the Super Bowl existed, was because at this time we'd had already seen trailers start popping up in those commercials.
Oh yeah.
Then the next year it was what? Independence Day.
I didn't catch on to like Super Bowl equals cool movie trailers till like late 90s.
Godzilla.
Yeah, maybe
98
maybe around
Godzilla
that
movie?
era. Yeah, 98, 99, something
the-
for sure.
Crushing that T-Rex. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, going back to the timeline.
Go. Yes.
June 10th, the original movie was released nationwide in tens of thousands of theaters. Then the VHS release, the first release happened October 4th of 94. So the book,
Year
the
and a
comic,
half. Yeah.
the comic was the in between. So we've run into this several times in movies as comics, where we find out that the comic was released either to coincide with the release of the VHS or as kind of the go between.
Mm-hmm.
So the only way you could relive the magic of Jurassic Park was probably in this Topps book.
That's what they were going on. That's what they went on back in the day, for sure. Is like, hey, you want to re-experience that epic experience that you just experienced? The only way you could do that is our comic.
Which is what they were doing with
And so-
which comic was advertised on television? Was it the Transformers release?
G.I. Joe.
Was it G.I. Joe? Yeah, it
G.I.
was
Joe. Well, G.I. Joe, of course, started the whole thing started as a commercial for a comic book. So when they got GI Joe, when America got GI Joe license or what, or when Hasbro,
Yeah.
was it Hasbro?
Yes.
Oh no,
No.
when Marvel Sunbow teamed up with Hasbro to reinvigorate GI Joe, you know, they had planned a comic book series, and at the time there were regulations against you couldn't make a cartoon to sell a toy.
Yeah.
But they were like, well, we could make a cartoon to sell a fucking comic, though. You didn't
You
stipulate
didn't
that
say.
shit, did you?
Yeah.
You never said anything about comics. So they made the very first G.I. Joe cartoons were commercials for the Marvel comic.
Wow.
And then the FCC changed the rules and they said, fuck it. You could commercialize anything you want to kids. They're dumb. They'll buy it. And and then we got G.I. Joe proper. Yeah. That's how that went down. But Jurassic Park. This is such a movie-ass movie. Well,
Yeah.
you know what I mean,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. Heck yeah.
It's made to be a movie. Even though it came from a novel, they were making a movie with this movie, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they changed a lot of stuff from the novel, like a lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
The novel is a flat out horror movie.
Yeah, it's like a horror movie, and it's sort of like a
Like a disaster movie too, of course.
kind of. It almost feels like a journal, like some scientist journal or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that Crichton.
It's-
Yeah, he does that. Now that you're
He's
mentioning it,
he's very bland when it comes to character and character development. Whereas to say like there is none,
it's almost
there
like
isn't.
yeah,
They're
like
flat
a
characters.
very
Yeah.
scientific, just straight, just the facts.
Yep. No
Um,
feeling, no
yeah.
emotion. Yeah. Right. It is. It's very much very flat and lifeless.
Mhm. That
And
helps with
I enjoy the book, so it's not to say that like me calling it lifeless is like a
an insult.
negative, an insult. I mean, it's not really. The book is what it is, you know.
Yeah,
And it's easy to separate the movie from the book too. I think pretty easy.
yeah.
Well,
It
because
lends
the
to the
movie does,
imagination of it.
and the movie does just such a good job just immersing you in the story that you could easily forget about other stuff. Like you get very much immersed in this with the timing, the pacing, the editing, the music, the sounds, the sights, like everything. The full theatrical experience is what Jurassic Park is all about. So what about this comic book though? Like if when we
Ah,
don't have the full theatrical experience here that I think Jurassic Park very much relies on, what are we left with, Henry?
we're left with a project. I wanted to learn more about the creation of Topps Comics in general. This is peak
Good
Topps right
call.
before they. I mean, because they were big in the card industry in like what the '60s, and
Sure.
eventually because of the comics boom in the '90s, went into the comics realm
Well,
and had
Did Tops have in the 80s, did they have Garbage Pail Kids?
the Garbage Pail Property. Was that Topps?
Yeah.
That wasn't until
I
later, was it?
I don't know.
I'm not
Actually, I was
sure.
just
I know
thinking. Anyway,
they
go
they
on. I'm
were
sorry.
making money hand and fist with
You would have
baseball.
seen that. Yeah, of course.
The sports cards were their bread and butter, especially baseball, and they had this whole controversy about how they knew that the what the popularity was like in the aftermarket in these cards, and they tried to get in on the aftermarket by um, purposely printing more of popular cards on entire sheets. So while people were running around saying, trying to get this Ken Griffey Jr. card that was like probably about $100 in '80s money,
Hmm.
because of its rarity, Topps was going behind everybody's back and printing out entire sheets of these things. So if you open the pack and you got a Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card, you were gleeful as hell.
Hmm.
It
Wow.
was the best thing that happened in the world. And I think they did that with comics to a certain extent too, because when they launched, they were doing, I mean, not just the Jurassic Park, but they were doing Zorro, they were doing other kinds of public domain and putting top creators into these. Jack Kirby. They gave Jack Kirby a run and told him he could do anything he wanted. So he created a little tiny Topps universe of superheroes.
Huh.
They're Walt Simonson, Gil Kane.
Oh, yeah, I know one of those Kirby Tops characters. That's
Yeah,
right. Yeah. I've got one of those kicking around somewhere.
yeah,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
it's because it's Topps, they're going to go ahead and polybag all of these, which these aren't the first instances of polybags, but they're going to polybag all of these. Actually, you know what the first instance of a polybag in a comic book is?
I
You're
do
gonna
not.
freak out. You're gonna freak out. It's X
Let me
Force
guess.
#1, the
Oh,
Liefeld.
you're kidding.
No, I'm not joking. They're like it's what the second highest selling comic of all time, and that was the
Yeah.
first instance of a polybag with an insert in it.
That was before Death of Superman.
Way before Death of Superman. It got by like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, so Topps capitalized on these by including Topps trading cards in them, and they picked up movie adaptations for Jurassic Park, Dracula. Zorro was big because of the Antonio Banderas movie that had been released, even though it wasn't an adaptation. They were still. I mean, isn't it still
It's a
public domain?
property.
Yeah, it might be.
Zorro?
Zorro, yeah.
Probably, or at least some of the parts of it, I'm sure are.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. Well, I don't think I had ever heard of honestly heard of Topps as a comic publisher until I started getting into collecting movie adaptation comics.
They had a lot of them. Yeah.
Which I guess they do a lot of them, so that's where they're gonna discover it, I guess.
They ran from
Oh,
'93. So Jurassic Park was one of the first releases that they had, and then they became defunct in '98. Of course,
Shoo.
with the balloon popping there, with the bubble popping.
Defunct the comics portion. They
Yeah, the
still
comics
continue
portion.
to
Yeah,
make cards.
yeah.
Yeah,
Topps
they
is still
still
in the
make
business.
sports
Mhm.
cards, right? Yeah, I thought
Correct.
so.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But they did the original Mars Attacks too, didn't they? Remember those cards?
Original?
The original, like in the 1960s.
Dude, maybe.
Topps has been around since like probably the 50s or something.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, so they did Mars Attacks and like Dinosaurs Attack.
Dinosaurs Attacks was so cool, yeah.
Hmm.
They were so gory, and I remember buying those. I'm like, damn, should I be holding these as a 10-year-old child or whatever I was?
That's radical. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they knew what they were doing with dinosaurs coming into this a little bit, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, they
Yes.
did.
Yeah, but that's one of my criticisms of it is that I mean the movie itself is known for pushing comic books into the forefront. I mean, not comic books, dinosaurs back into the forefront of people's minds culturally, anyway.
Hmm.
And at this point, we knew because of Jurassic Park that, for example, dinosaurs didn't drag their tails.
That's right.
And one of the things that I noticed here with the Gil Kane art in this book is there's a lot of that. A lot of it is reminiscent of like the 70s and maybe even the 60s depiction of dinosaurs in these books, in these children's books, illustrated books.
Yeah, these guys grew up watching The Lost World and shit,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
these guys grew up watching Ray Harryhausen dinosaurs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So that
you can tell. Yeah.
yeah, you kind of can in the art styles for sure. The faces that they draw on the dinosaurs are also kind of funny. Like they're very emotive to the point where they sometimes end up looking goofy and
Mm-hmm.
silly. Like these kind of big eyes, that like it's just like
Yeah.
let me see if I can. That's such a derp face, like
Derp.
derp.
Uh-huh.
If I saw that thing come out of the trees, I just imagine that it's not making a roar sound; it's making a derp de der sound.
Derp.
So want to go over the credits for this? Oh, by the way, I've got the trade paperback, which is
That's one
the
I read.
issues 1 through 4 collected here.
Mm-hmm.
And also on the cover it says plus free all new Jurassic Park #0 comic inside.
As in, like it's reprinted in the collection, or they put a physical.
It's
zero
not
from-
reprinted in the collection because it's not. No, it's not here.
Wow.
This is issues 1 through 4. Now I've got the Zero issue. It's a separate. I just have the floppy. Here it is, the Zero issue. It's one of those ones where you read the first half and then it stops and flips, and then there's another story in the second half.
A la Marvel Comics Presents.
But what are they talking about? All new Jurassic Park number 0 inside. And I also, there's no indication that anything was torn out of here. You know?
Yeah.
I don't see a tear off thing. I don't see a bag. I don't see space missing. It's square bound, so it's not like there's staples that have been removed.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on here?
I know exactly what was happening because this is Exo Manowar Retribution. It's a reprint of the Exo Manowar comics from, look at the year, 1993.
Yeah.
And it came with the free book, so it's polybagged here with a free Exo Manowar database.
Oh.
So it was a trend back then to do. And I know of a couple of other examples of these early trade paperbacks that had comics included in them.
It says comic inside, though. That makes me think that it's in the pages of this book.
But it's not. It's inside the bag.
It's inside the bag that this would have come in had I bought it brand new.
Had you bought it brand new, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it also trademarked 1993 Universal City Studios Incorporated and Amblin Entertainment.
Amblin, Steven Spielberg wanted his piece of the.
It makes me wonder about that publisher that was created to put out that Arachnophobia comic adaptation, which is Hollywood Comics or something. Fuck, do I have it in front of me?
Oh, we didn't do that Arachnophobia episode.
I know.
We need to do that.
We should. Because that was a Steven Spielberg thing too, very much.
Yeah.
And it was published by like Hollywood Comics or something crazy that I don't really see anywhere else. I don't know where the fuck it is. I'm not digging it out now. Anyway, so I was just wondering, like, it seems like maybe they would have tried to carry it on, put Jurassic Park out with Hollywood. Where was that publisher, you know?
Yeah.
They get Jurassic Park up in there. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I have a little synopsis of that Zero issue.
Go for it. Oh, yeah, I skimmed it. Yeah.
Yeah. Zero issue had 2 parts, just like Oz had shown. First part was Genesis on one side and then Betrayal on the other. Genesis is the story of Donald Gennaro going to Isla Nublar to express his worry in reference to John Hammond's visionary Jurassic Park project. John Hammond insists that everything will be fine and then proceeds to show Gennaro where everything on the island will go in place. Gennaro is then informed by Hammond that the genetics lab, the labs are in place and ready to produce biological attractions for the island, but insists Gennaro view a screening presentation of what he is to see. In a surprising turn of events, Gennaro is offered the chance of seeing Jurassic Park's first dinosaur, a Tyrannosaurus, being born. Gennaro is told by Hammond in a foreshadowing event, someday this little fella might surprise you. And he does. Spoilers.
Derp.
Yeah. And then the other one was Betrayal.
Oh, yeah, go ahead with that. Nedry.
Nedry. Yeah, Nedry is hired by John Hammond to set up the island systems, but Nedry wishes for more money to do it, and as a result, he and Hammond get into financial debate. Nedry, defeated, goes and speaks with a mysterious contact to gain more funds.
Okay. Did you need any of this at all?
Not at all, and I don't even think any of these introductions were in the novel.
No, not a one of them were in the novel. Not that I remember.
Yeah.
That's not how Nedry's introduced. Yeah, I don't think. There are chapters like about Nedry and like where he came from. And there's like a little bit like about Muldoon and like where he came from. But there's not like bits where like he and Hammond first meet and they first go to
there was
the
no
island
debate.
together. There was no debate.
Mm-hmm.
But this debate just comes up again in the proper story. So why do I need it twice? Like, so they come in and say, "Oh, I don't think this is going to go right," and then you get to the story, and it's like more people come in, and they're like, "Oh, I don't think this is going to go well." Like, it's kind of redundant a little bit,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, I think the Zero issue. I think it would have been better in a Zero issue, because you know what they did in the novel that I really like is they sort of when they're in the beginning of the novel, you're not really supposed to know what John Hammond is up to exactly. Of course, we all know because it's Jurassic Park, right?
Yeah.
Like, of course you know, but in the story, you're not supposed to know. It's kind of like this investigation into like what the fuck John Hammond is up to. But I like that they go over all these like points where um, he's been buying up like certain companies around the world that like don't make any sense. Like he buys up like an amphibian company. Like he buys up like a metal works or something, all these
Mhm.
things that like he needs to make Jurassic Park work on the island. Like he's getting involved in all these companies and getting the pieces together, and the I don't know, just like the business intrigue, and like how,
Capitalist shit.
like you said earlier, like one piece doesn't know what the other piece is doing exactly, and they're all under these contracts to do these things and they don't really know why,
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
yeah. And how why John Hammond is buying these like shipping companies so he could have stuff shipped to this little island that he bought. What the hell he's doing out there? Like, I think some of that stuff would have made for an intriguing Zero issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, they take some of those aspects in the games, don't they? With the Tall Tale releases, with those
Oh, I haven't played too
cutscenes.
many of the games, honestly. Especially when Tall Tales started doing games. I wasn't really playing much. Like I said, I mostly played like the shitty Sega
That
Genesis
Sega
game.
Genesis one, yeah.
Yeah. I hate
The side
I
scrollers.
hate video games that are I hate video games that are side scrollers, but also you're on like um
A rail.
a map, like a up and down
Oh,
map.
the
So
map.
like you're
Mhm.
scrolling along, but you could choose to go like north or south. Like Friday the 13th, the game on NES,
Oh,
or
yeah. Yeah.
and you get so
Metal
confused as to
no,
like
not Metal
which direction you're heading all of a sudden, and
with
so you
no
go
map screen.
with no map screen. So like you go up and then all of a sudden you're on a different side scrolling screen. Or then you could go down and then you're on a different side scrolling screen. You have
Yeah.
no clue like where you're going. Anyway, that's mostly what I remember about that game.
Yeah, they do explore some of the Isla Nublar, like, during the events and then after the events of the movie,
That's cool.
the first movie. Yeah.
I
Uh,
started I started losing interest in Jurassic Park in general about the time of Jurassic Park 3 coming out.
I still saw that in theaters.
I did not see it in theaters. I saw it. Oh, did I see it in theaters? Dude, I might have. I don't know. But I was very underwhelmed by that movie.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did not like it. I do not like Jurassic Park 3. It bugs me. It starts adding stupid stuff like him talking to dinosaurs through a little blowbone. And
The kid
oh, yeah.
surviving on an island
Uh,
full of
it doesn't make
meat-eating
any sense.
predators
Yes, right. All
'cause
the
he's
all
witty.
all the like fucking double agent shit that's happening. Like they're all like
Yeah.
turning on
Yeah.
each other like constantly, like so many twists. I mean, we were so stupid. And then the World Jurassic World movies, I hardly even recognize those.
Oh,
So, yeah.
the book, the original Topps comic was released in, June 1st, 1993. Um,
Okay.
the,
Well, wait. So a couple weeks, a week before the movie. Then is that what you're
well,
saying?
that's the cover date. So the cover date is 2 months ahead, isn't it? So this would have been planned.
Oh yeah, this would have been out on the shelves like months before the movie. Then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
that was always kind of the model for doing these
yeah.
things. That I mean, they did that even with the original Star Wars in '77.
Yeah.
You could go read Star Wars before the movie even came out. Like there were a couple months where you could go read Star Wars
Wow.
in comic form before it was ever even released.
Cover date of June, so that would have been April?
Yeah,
An
probably
April
April.
release?
something
Mhm.
like that.
The original release had 4 covers. There was the A cover by Gil Kane. There was the B cover by Dave Cockrum
Hmm.
of Marvel and X-Men fame.
Yeah.
There was one that was a gold. It was called Amber Chrome, of course, because it's the '90s, and it's a basic Prism cover.
Amber
It was
Chrome. I like
limited.
that.
It was.
I wanna find one of those. Yeah.
Yeah, I got it here. You want me to share it?
Oh, you do? Yeah, let's see
Yeah,
it.
yeah, I'm looking right at it. So it was limited to 7,500.
Oh, a limited, okay.
Yeah, that's the Amber Chrome
Oh,
limited to 7,500.
that might actually be a little pricey on eBay or something.
Yeah,
It's
it's
possible.
$152 was the last sold for a near mint
Oh.
copy. So
Oh,
yeah,
more than I thought.
uh,
Holy shit.
and then
Okay.
later there was a second print that was released, which is basically just a rehashing of the same cover. But there we go,
Alrighty.
Gil Kane, George Bettis cover.
Yeah, of which none of them are present in this trade, in this collected trade.
None of
Which
the
is
covers.
always disappointing. Don't do that, guys. Just
Yeah. Hmm.
do. What's the problem?
I
Or is it caught
mean,
up in rights? Is it some kind of legal thing that they can't do it? Is that what happens?
that's the thing, though, is that it's the '90s, so these contracts were all over the place. There was no industry
Mm.
standard on signing artists and what paying them out.
And then once you get a movie tied into the whole
Yeah,
thing,
dude,
then
and
the
then
rights. Yeah.
on top of that, there's also the fact that these aren't just guys that they pulled off the street that were, new to comics. This is
Walt
Walt
Simonson and
Simonson,
shit.
huge,
Yeah.
huge in the '70s. George Bettis, huge in the
But
'70s. Gil Kane is a legend at this point already. Like,
I
so
mean,
they're not gonna
could
work
you
for
could
peanuts.
you could say legend on one hand, and you could say washed up on the other.
Jesus Christ.
We are all in agreement that, like, Jack Kirby was not doing his best stuff in the 80s. We are all in agreement on that. Huh?
When did New Gods come out? That was in the late
It
'70s?
was late 70s or
Late '70s.
something.
Okay, 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 okay. You got a
Okay.
point there.
Late 80s, he was not
Yeah.
at the end of his run, he was not at peak, you know.
Yeah,
None of these
but with
none of
no.
these guys are. None of these guys ever are. I'm sorry, but they just,
Mhm.
not that they lose it, but they change. A lot of years go by and fucking people change.
Yeah, but I mean, he had to survive doing what he could because he didn't have his original art.
Of course.
He couldn't
Yeah.
he didn't own any of the characters that Marvel was
Mm,
printing billions of in the early '90s.
that's
Uh,
true.
so no residuals, or
Mm,
if he was getting residuals, it was very little.
no.
And eventually that creativity tank just runs dry. But Gil Kane, I mean, he did all of Green Lantern, so Hal Jordan and Abin Sur and Sinestro and Guy Gardner and
Mm.
Black Hand. Black Hand's so cool.
Oh, cool,
Uh,
cool. He had a real long run on the Hulk, also.
yeah.
The Hulk,
Oh, those are
didn't he?
great covers.
Yeah, he's just awesome Hulk covers.
Mhm.
Gil Kane Hulk is pretty fucking rad. Is he the right person to draw these dinosaurs?
At this point, he was born in 1926. So
Shit.
no,
Yeah. No.
no, he's not the right person.
No.
No, no, he's already
I mean,
should be
it makes me feel
retired.
kind of old too, because, like, yeah, the dinosaurs that, like, I grew up with, based on what we know about dinosaurs today, it's like, do you want to see a T-Rex covered in colorful feathers in a
Yes.
Jurassic Park movie? Yes, yes, I do.
Yes. Yes, I do, exactly. Uh,
Like a
60
terrifying peacock or
he was
something.
67 when this book came out.
Okay, yeah.
So he had drawn the entire thing, though, right? He wasn't just a cover artist, he was drawing the entire thing.
That's another conversation that happens in story, specifically in the novel, that they don't really discuss in the movies. Like, well, it's worked into the world movies a lot, actually, which is like that's like the one thing that I really like about the Jurassic World movies, is that
Uh-huh.
they discuss this kind of stuff, although they don't take it anywhere or do anything with it, but they do discuss it, which I appreciate. And that's the fact that the dinosaurs that they're making for Jurassic Park are not actually dinosaurs.
Right.
Like, they do draw attention to this in the novel, like, in a big way in the novel.
Mm-hmm.
They draw attention to, like, and mostly it's what's his name? Wu?
Mm-hmm.
The head geneticist or whatever.
Right. And spoilers.
He is constantly saying, like, "Look, John, like, we can make these whatever the fuck we want to make them, and what we want to do is get people here ogling at animals, not precise representations of what they were, but what we want them to be, you know."
Right. There was a line about teeth.
Oh,
You want
cool.
bigger
Yeah.
teeth, bigger
Yeah,
claws,
sure.
bigger teeth,
Hmm.
stuff like I vaguely remember that because yeah,
And they finally get to exploring that concept in the World trilogy, but they fucking
they fucked it up.
blow
They
it.
dropped it. They fumbled the ball on that one.
They made that dumb. They made that dumb like super T-Rex, and it's fucking stupid.
Yeah, really dumb. Way better than what was originally planned though with those human dino hybrids.
Were they
I'm
planning
so
that?
glad they didn't go with that, but yeah.
Oh no!
The
Was
original
that?
idea for Jurassic Park 4.
Oh no! Really?
Yeah, there's concept art and everything
Oh, that would have been brutal.
with like raptors with machine gun arms and like stuff sticking out of their
Oh
skulls,
wait, you didn't tell me
shortening
anything
snout.
about machine gun arms earlier. Now I'm back on board.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. Let me just show
Dino
you
people, Dino mutants with machine gun arms. Now I'm back on.
concept art.
So,
Here's this I've seen this for years. This has been the concept art for Jurassic Park 4 until let's see here. Oops. Share screen.
yeah, I'm into it. When did Michael Crichton like stop having anything to do with it? After the second
I
movie?
think after the second movie because he was forced to write The Lost World, wasn't he?
More or less,
More
from
or
how
less.
I understand it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my understanding too. Was that it was
He
kind
wrote
of
it he wrote it because they needed to make another movie.
right, and it lent legitimacy to the movie if they had the novel,
Right.
which
Well,
nowadays they just don't give a shit about.
no, That's
Um,
wild.
shit
That's
like
a
that.
little less humanistic. That's a little less humanistic than I imagined.
Yeah, still ridiculous.
Still pretty ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, but I like that they throw around the concept of like that we could do this. Like we're making them, you know.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
White Shark. Oh, I've been that novel has been on my radar for a while about shark human hybrids.
Isn't that what? Okay.
Sorry, I just saw it in passing. Anyway,
Awesome.
the creative team.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So there's a whole introduction in this trade from Walt Simonson, which
Simons is a huge dinosaur guy. His signature is famously
a dino.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a dinosaur. It's a brontosaurus.
Yep. Um it says a lot here, but it doesn't really tell you too much about this particular comic book. It's more of him, yeah, talking about how much he loves dinosaurs and has
Mhm.
always loved dinosaurs. And he talks briefly
Nice.
about like, doing a movie adaptation can be kind of hazardous. I know because there are so many variables and things can change, and then it's kind of on from there. So he doesn't. This actually doesn't spend too much time talking about this project.
Mhm.
Just saying.
Yeah. It
Um,
probably
uh,
took him a weekend to do it.
then he goes on. He goes on in the end of it. He goes, everyone who worked, and then the last like three paragraphs are basically like, it sounds like an Oscar acceptance speech that he's giving. Like he's
Yeah.
like thanking everybody and all their hard work and blah blah blah. He says, "Well, the same can be said about John Workman, letterer extraordinaire."
So I have a little thing about that.
I have some things about that too.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead.
Apparently that guy got, and I'm not going to say he got the position because of Walt Simonson, but he and Simonson have a history together.
Really? Okay.
They work together on a lot of things. I think pretty much anything that Simonson was doing,
I thought maybe it wasn't even a real person, and John Workman was like one of those names that like so when someone pulls out of a project and they don't want their name on it, you know,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
it's like a
Colorist
fake.
too.
It sounds like a very fake, made up name, John Workman,
John Workman, yeah. Yeah, like,
who
oh,
works
look at
for us.
this. He's
It's just another guy who
Joe
works for
Plumber.
us. His name's John Workman.
Workman.
That's right, Workman.
Tom
Okay.
Smith was a colorist too, and he had also already had a history with George Perez. In fact,
Okay.
if you go to look up Tom Smith, all the art that's displayed for his coloring is done by George Perez. It's all pencils by George Perez. Or in this
Okay.
case, inks.
Yeah. So John Workman, and who did you say the colorist?
Tom Smith.
Tom
Another
Smith.
generic name.
It sounds like they pulled themselves off and got like this movie was directed by you know,
Yeah.
what's the
Alan
name?
Smithy.
Yeah, Alan Smithy movie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, John Workman and Tom Smith, I am not impressed by your work in this book. I think the colors are one of my least favorite parts about this.
They're all
They're
in their
so
60s at this point.
they're so like
Yeah.
garish and like bright, and they
It's very
clash.
old
Like
school.
it's so saturated. I don't know what it is about it. Yeah, it is old school.
That's
It looks
old
like I
school
should be
DC.
reading like a Justice League of America comic.
Mhm. That's like 50s and 60s DC
It's
comics.
it's
Bill
so
King, all that shit.
ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I did not like it.
Mhm.
And also it's very flat. And like who's wearing like all blue clothes and all green clothes, and you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm the yellows. There's just like so much color. There's not enough black. This is supposed to be a horror story. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think? Oh, and then the letterer. So is the letterer definitely responsible for the onomatopoeia
Yes.
also,
So in most cases, yes.
or is that the
No.
penciler?
No. It's a letter.
The onomatopoeia is so boring in this.
In most
You know,
cases. I think McFarlane did
he
his
did his own
onomatopoeias.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that, but
Because they
that
let him.
he was an outlier though. In
Yeah,
that
but that was
sense.
an outlier because like he made a lot of changes to Spider-Man and to comics in general with that little corner box and stuff because he had a lot of demands. He wouldn't do Spider-Man unless he was allowed to control the corner box. He was allowed to dictate what kind of webbing was used, so the
Mhm.
spaghetti webbing that was done earlier by another artist, and
Mhm.
then also the onomatopoeias and like breaking the title and everything like that. That's
I
all.
just think, yeah, I think that putting a little more effort into that would have boosted the effect of this comic book, because like we were talking about the movie a minute ago. I brought up, and I still feel this way, that the sound of this movie is such an important factor
Mhm.
in what makes it. And you gotta nail that. Like if you're trying to adapt this movie into a comic book, you have to fucking adapt the sound also. And
Yeah,
and to do that, you got to do the onomatopoeia. You got to
yeah.
do it better than this shit. Look at it's just like blocky letters. They don't
Mhm.
change size. They're all one color.
Well, okay, the one color I
Um,
understand that criticism, but the other criticisms that
they
you had
don't
with the
work.
blocky
Yeah.
letters, but these are machines.
Hmm.
So like later on
Okay.
with screams and
No,
when the dinosaurs, they get a little more creative with the screeches, don't they?
I disagree. Look at that dinosaur right there.
Oh yeah, yeah, he's
He's
fine.
going R R R R R R R.
I might have been
That
another
one,
comic I was
that
looking at
one,
then.
he's saying roar.
Yeah,
And
roar,
that one, he's
roar,
also saying roar.
roar, roar. Yeah. Sorry, I was probably thinking about another book I was reading earlier
This is
today.
just one page. Let me keep going through it also.
Yeah, no, yeah, it is blocky.
They
You're right.
don't change style that much. Also, I like it when the onomatopoeia does work into the artwork itself, you know. These feel like they're just sort of stamped over the top of pages.
Hmm. Yeah, and that's because the letterer is doing it, not Gil Kane or George Perez, who was inking the book.
Okay. Yeah. And
So
when
they're
they're drawing,
pretty
when they're
consistent.
penciling these things, are they imagining that the letterer is going to come put onomatopoeia here, like sound effects here, so they leave blank spaces for it, or
I think that comes
or
with experience, but I don't think that it was probably in the forefront of what
not
they were doing.
intentional immediately?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's an editor's job, isn't it? To
Hmm.
decide like, okay, this doesn't look right. You're gonna have to redo it.
Do they come in and do that like before everything gets like
There's a famous story
laid out
about
in a
Karen
layout
Berger.
phase? Uh-huh.
There's a story about Karen Berger and that with Sam Keith on Sandman #1.
Oh.
Um, she she w- um, she had seen not the finalized completion, but she very hands on with the production, specifically with Sam Keith.
Mhm.
Uh, and that's how I learned that they don't do the onomatopoeias. That most of the time it's the colorist or the letterer.
Hmm.
Sorry, not the colorist, the letterer or the inker.
Right.
These were all included tops cards, but the amount of cards that were included in each one of these issues was based off of which version you got. So there were some that were released with signatures by the creative teams. Is that it? Or word
Growl.
balloons?
Look at he's
Word balloons. What the fuck?
he's saying growl.
What's that other one that's right next to it on the opposite page
Er,
that you're showing?
I'm
There's
sorry.
where the car is
Oh
crushing.
yeah, that's a
Oh god.
crunching car. I
Yeah.
don't know, they're just so like look at R.
Jesus.
This is one of the most famous scenes from the fucking whole movie. And this is one of the most famous scenes from cinema.
That again though is old school
Is
comic.
when the T-Rex breaks out of the thing and you first hear him do that big the
Mhm.
T-Rex sound.
The first
Like
sound,
that's
yeah.
so important. And that literally that one sound, that one moment like changed people.
Mhm.
And here it's like R speech bubble.
R question mark?
It's kind of lame. anyway. Anyway.
That's old school though.
That's that. Yeah, that's the letter. That's my gripe about the letters. and
Uh,
and then it's just so repetitive.
yeah.
Boom, 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 boom,
That's
boom,
another one
boom,
of those
boom, boom.
iconic scenes when the kids are like, "Did you hear that?"
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, the cup.
the
Yeah,
cup.
looking at the
There
cup.
was no cup in there,
There
but
was,
you do get the
there
boom.
was,
Was there?
but yeah, but they didn't. Oh, wasn't there?
I didn't see a cup, and I know a lot of it was,
Oh, you might be
especially
right.
towards
No,
the
there
end.
was.
It
Yeah.
feels like the first issue was a little bit more dragged out, and
Yeah.
being more um, closer to what the movie was, and then the last two issues, especially, it's just
Right.
straight downhill from there, and they rushed to the ending.
That's right. This is the T-Rex breaking out scene, and I am 2/3 through this book.
Yeah,
2/3.
and that's 2 issues, I think. The T-Rex scene was 2 issues or something. It was like half of the issue
Not
2 and like half
not
of issue
on,
3.
not only in this trade do they not have covers, but they don't even indicate where one issue stops and the other begins. There's no indication.
I think mine did.
It did?
I think so.
It had like
That's how I
end. It said
knew.
end somewhere or
Yeah, it
something.
said end.
Oh, maybe I just missed that. Oh yeah, you're right. End part 2.
Yeah,
In
chapter
part 2, and they're just coming to the stegus, the triceratops, the,
Triceratops,
the
yeah.
6 triceratops. Why are they changing these things, Henry? Why are they changing these scenes here? This wasn't in the book. This is not how this happened in the book. But in the comic adaptation, you know, Hammond sees something, so he jumps out of the moving vehicle, kind of like in the movie.
Mhm.
And they come across a live
Stand
triceratops that's standing
standing up.
up, and it's
Mhm,
yeah, it's kind of coming at them. And then the doctor tranks it before it gets to them, right?
mhm.
And then they go through the whole like she's sick, and Ellie shoves her hand in the that's one big pile of shit, like
Yeah,
that whole thing.
yeah. I hope
She's
you're washing your
tenacious.
hands out before we
Yeah,
eat.
hope you wash your hands before you eat anything,
Yeah.
which is
And
in
I think
here. That line
yeah.
is in here.
Yeah, that
All
line
of
is in
Ian
there.
Malcolm's little bits are in here, pretty
Yes.
much.
They kept
Is
those.
like I'm always on the lookout for a new future Mrs. Malcolm. Like his
Yeah.
his lines are in here, which is
We've
great.
we've read, and I think when we even talked to Bob Rozakis, I think he even mentioned it. that it's hard working on these adaptations because of the amount of changes that could happen from the time that you get the script to work on it to the theatrical release of this movie. And we talked about the release of this coinciding with the release of the
Hmm.
movie. So that might have been a scene that was going to be included that has just got cut.
That's true. They might have found out that they couldn't
The logistics of it, yeah.
logistically do that. Because
Mm.
again, they were pushing boundaries. They didn't know if they could do any of this shit in the
Mhm.
movie. They were not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was in the beginning, it was stop motion animation by fucking Phil Tippett before they were like, I think we could do computers.
Wait, somebody had introduced it to Spielberg, right? And they sold it to him like, "Hey, look what we can do." And then they showed him like a snippet of a
Yeah,
dinosaur
so
walking.
yeah, basically. So like um Dennis what's his fucking name? That heads up ILM, one of
Oh,
the founder, Dennis Dennis Murin.
yeah.
So,
I was
so
gonna say
Dennis
O'Neill, no,
Murin,
it's not.
yeah, Dennis Murin came to him with like a rendering of a raptor like running or something,
Something like that. Yeah.
and that was that.
Mhm.
It was done. It's over. And like you could see Phil Tippett did the whole kitchen raptor scene
Yeah.
with stop motion. Have you ever seen bits from
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Looks fucking radical. I would kind of like the alternate universe to see like what Phil Tippett's Jurassic Park would have looked like.
Would Jurassic Park have been as popular
No,
without
no,
the CG and Stan
no,
Winston?
no.
The team of CG and Stan Winston.
I
Yeah.
I don't think so. Yeah.
Would have gotten people in rubber suits.
Nah. Muppet
Mm.
Muppet Jurassic Park, basically.
Jurassic Park, yeah.
I don't think so, man. But you're right. Stan Winston played a big part as well because this movie was the perfect like fucking merriment of CG versus and practical effects both being used together to make it look great, which is what they don't understand these days in making movies is that CG
Mhm.
is a useful tool and it can be used great in tandem with doing shit for real. Like you got to cut to that
Yeah.
close up of the fake rubber thing, you know,
Yeah.
where it's not moving and you're just seeing a head. You got to,
Mm. Or
makes it
maybe
more
like 1 or 2
tangible.
moving parts on the head.
Yeah, one or two. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, I was looking at the Betrayal and the flip book, the issue 0 flip book,
Hmm.
and it's not the same creative team. Uh,
Simonson. Oh,
Simonson
Yeah,
wrote it.
Gil Kane.
Yes. Gil Kane, drew it, and he did the ink.
Dick
So
Giordano.
yeah, that's what I was gonna point out was
Oh,
Giordano did the, inks for Kane in the Betrayal story.
Giordano is inking.
Yeah. They didn't have George
Okay.
Bettis for that issue at all.
Well, it would have been if they're gonna Giordano would have done the workman's not John Workman, mind you, but like the workman of the company. He would have he would have been doing that work, to
Uh-huh.
get this comic out on time because he's Dick Giordano.
Mhm.
He was very much a workman, right?
Mike DiCarlo. Yes.
Oh, and
Absolutely.
he was on Star Wars. He was on Star Wars for a long, long time.
Yeah.
So he was definitely involved with these adaptations.
Possibly even more. I mean, there's so many DC adaptations that we haven't gotten to yet. It'd be
Probably,
interesting to see them.
probably more. Yeah, wasn't I mean, didn't he hold like a editor position at DC for a long time? Or
DiCarlo? No,
yeah,
not DiCarlo.
no,
No,
Giordano,
Giordano. Yeah, yeah. Dick Giordano was editor for quite a while, I think.
editor in chief. Was he?
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yes,
So yeah,
absolutely.
if it was like something that like we got to get this done, in a timely fashion, yeah, Giordano's gonna jump in
Mhm.
just to get the work done for sure.
Yeah. That's how you get and
Hmm.
that I think that's the case for, like, industries in general is that when you've got that guy that works the deadlines and can meet it, never lets you down,
Hmm.
they're gonna end up in positions of leadership within the company.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
yeah, Jim Lee's the exception, but that's
And then
just like
everyone's
good
and then
business
everyone's
sense.
gonna hate them.
And then everybody's gonna hate them. Yeah, Jim Shooter,
And yeah,
Wolfman. That's why
yeah,
Wolfman left, was because he couldn't handle being
yeah,
that guy.
yeah. I can't blame him.
Most left Marvel and went back to DC because
Shooter. I'll always use him as an example of like
uh,
getting like undeserved hate.
yeah, and not being afraid of taking that kind of
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, he didn't give a
criticism. Just
fuck.
being,
Yeah.
he didn't give a shit.
So anyway, yeah, so they changed things, and yeah, I guess they could have been cutscenes. I've never read like earlier script versions of Jurassic Park. I don't know if they're available to read.
I
I
think
don't know
they
if
are,
they've
because
ever
that
been
was,
leaked or released.
what was her name? That was the one that had the screenwriter, and she worked on a couple of Crichton projects.
Really? Okay,
Um,
like Sphere.
Sphere. What was that one with Paul Walker and the time? Gerard
Oh,
Butler.
yeah, like
uh,
Time Jumpers or something like
Whatever
that.
that was.
Time Slip or something. I don't
Hmm.
know.
Malia Scotchmarmo. Malia
Oh,
Scotchmarlow. Marlow. I don't know.
okay. She adapted the script from the novel.
From the novel. Yeah.
Mhm. Well, I don't think this charging
Right.
Triceratops was part of the novel either.
No. No. Was there a Triceratops at all? I don't remember.
Absolutely, like in
There's
the
a Triceratops.
novel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they
Triceratops that
have.
was eating berries.
Yep, they have that whole scene where they're talking about like, well, what's its diet? It's sick. Oh, the tongue
Oh, and then
vascular,
the vet's daughter was
yada
there too,
yada.
right?
I think so, or no,
Or was that the game? I think they kind of
it
like
must have been the
jumble up.
game.
Yeah.
I don't remember
I
that
haven't
at
read
all.
that
Yeah,
book in a while, which I probably should. I should go on a Michael Crichton kick, but right now I'm still stuck on a Stephen King kick.
yeah, I am too for sure. But yeah, Michael Crichton, yeah, he could be a little dry. They added stuff to the movie that wasn't in the novel. Um,
Took out.
so I could see how they might add a little excitement with some dinosaurs just for a nice scene that plays well in a movie. Sure, sure. And also, but also I thought, well, maybe they did this literally just for the comic book, because if they adapted that scene from the movie where they just like slowly get out of a car and walk up to a dinosaur that's just laying down and not moving, it's like, well, that's not very dynamic and exciting for a comic book. That might work well in the movie,
Yeah.
where you get that slow pan back of the full dinosaur, and and the camera pushes through the you know
The
the
foliage.
yeah, the foliage to expose like one, and then you hear the da na na da na na, like the music swell, and you can't do that really in a comic. Like you can't recreate that kind of excitement with where when nothing is actually going on, in the scene, but it's more about how the camera is moving and how it's
Yeah.
revealed in the music. You can't do that in a comic
Yeah.
exactly. So I thought maybe they created this just to make an exciting comic book moment
Yeah.
to keep the rhythm going. But I'm not sure because, like I said, I've never read any rejected versions of Jurassic Park script. I don't know,
Hmm.
but it
I
didn't
did
come from
read
the book.
rejected versions of the Resident Evil script. That George Romero one. Did you read that? Oh,
No,
that's so good.
George Romero wrote a Resident Evil
He wrote a
script.
Resident Evil, and it's easily downloadable online, and it's
Oh,
not very
cool.
long.
I will check that out.
Uh,
Yeah.
it's
Well,
the first Resident Evil game.
that's what you do. Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
I don't know why it was rejected, but
we
George
want
Romero
to.
wrote.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah,
is
yeah.
there?
They changed, like in the book. It's so the characters are so nothing that like that relationship between Ellie Sadler and Alan Grant doesn't even exist in the book. They don't have a
No,
relationship. They're not
other than a
talking about.
professional one. Yeah.
They just have a professional relationship. Also, she is significantly younger than him in the book. She's like
Yeah.
fresh out of college. She's like a college doing her like college thesis or something,
Hmm.
and he's like well seasoned, like
Or she had
professor.
just, because she was already a doctorate. I think she already had her
Yeah,
PhD, so she was like,
maybe
yeah, she was just like paying her dues.
she was pretty young though. Yeah, and they did not have a relationship at all. Yeah. And in the scene in the book when Ian was like, "Is she like available?" He's like, "I don't fucking know." Basically, I think that's how I remember it. Like, you want to
Yeah.
fuck her? Fuck her. I don't care. Like, I think that's what was going on. I don't know though. Yeah, but there was never that arc of like, he went in like not appreciating um having kids and reproduction, and he was just
That's
looking at,
typical.
yeah, he didn't want to grow.
Uh,
It was nice addition for the movie.
Yeah. That's typical Crichton. Like there is no underlying love story or any kind
No
of character
emotion,
development
no
like that. No
growth.
emotion.
Yeah,
There
right.
when there is though, like in Lost World, when there is, it is set in the past. So it had
Oh,
already happened. So like Ian's divorce and the fact that he has a child
yeah.
and the previous relationship that he had with what was the name? Fucking the redhead. Julianne Moore.
Oh, yeah.
Whoever
Uh,
Julianne Moore's character was, they had a relationship or a previous relationship. It
yeah,
was
was
not
that from the
explored in the book.
book? Did he write that in the book?
I think it was in the book, but like there was no
Oh,
romantic
and he oh,
aspects.
and he had some black daughter, so like there must have been some other
She wasn't black in
relationship.
the book though.
There must have been some other relationship in there also that
Yeah,
failed.
yeah, yeah. That's the divorce, I think.
Like that girl in that movie, that girl's mother was not around, and that girl's mother also was not Julianne Moore.
Sarah Harding was
Okay,
yeah, it's his current girlfriend.
whatever.
Yeah.
I mean,
In
but in the
Hammond's
book, yeah,
nephew.
it's like Hammond doesn't even grow in the book. At the end of the book, he's like, "Oh
No,
man, my Jurassic Park
he takes
failed."
over. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
he
his Greed
died.
takes
He
over
doesn't
and he
make it. He
dies.
doesn't live. Yeah,
Yeah.
he doesn't live through the end of the book, but he also doesn't really learn anything. Like,
No. No, he was still a piece of shit who put his grandchildren in
yeah.
the line of fire in danger,
Hmm.
um, just to get like a child's aspect or a child's reaction to his park.
Hmm.
I think
Nobody changes their viewpoint on their thoughts on the park. They go in with one viewpoint, and that viewpoint sticks with them through the whole story.
with the
Like,
exception of the lawyer. The only one on my
he
side is the
change he
blood-sucking
changes it.
lawyer.
He changes his mind at the very last minute. Hey, so that's of course, that's a very memorable scene we all can
The
picture in
dinner
our
table?
heads. No, the
Oh.
lawyer getting plucked off that fucking
Ugh.
toilet and then
Ow.
thrashed around back and forth.
Mhm.
And that's kind of nerfed in this comic. You see that scene?
Yeah. That you know what? And Malcolm's running into that building was also kind of nerfed too, because I think in the book he follows Grant's movements with the flare, but instead of throwing it off, he starts running with it.
That's right. Yeah.
In an attempt to save the kids, not in an attempt to escape.
Right.
Yeah.
He was trying to help.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was trying to help. Yeah. Where in this comic,
Um.
that's not the case. There's
Yeah.
a
In the
lot of
comic, he
likenesses
just.
in these book though. And
Uh,
they got
that's
Malcolm straight.
that's right. Yeah, he looks like Jeff Goldblum there
Just looks like Jeff
for
Goldblum.
sure. They all look.
Samuel looks
They
like
all.
Samuel.
I mean, they all kind of ebb in and out of looking like the actor or not.
Yeah, Nedry though stays consistent, but where? Yeah, that Dilophosaurus scene, like they just kind of dropped the Nedry thing, didn't they? In this book, in this comic,
No, no, that plays out.
it does. Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. The Dilophosaurus had loops. They didn't have crests. They had loops on their head, and I was like,
Uh-huh.
"What the hell is that?" That's cocaine.
Yeah. That's also stuff that wasn't in the book. That's also stuff they added for the movie because the Dilophosaurus never had any kind of head stuff
The
going
head
on.
stuff. They had this crest.
Oh yeah, like
They
a little
always had the
crest.
crest on the
Yeah,
skull,
sure,
but
sure.
no
But I mean, like
cobra.
changing head stuff. Like they
Yeah,
never
no
had the
frill.
flare out wings.
Hmm.
Nothing like that. That was all like we got to make it cool for the
Yeah,
movie.
but that's one of the goriest parts of the book, though.
And they didn't spit like that.
No, they didn't spit.
Yeah.
No, wait, did they spit in the book? Don't they blind him with the
Oh, I
spit?
mean in real life. Like,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah. They were like 4 feet tall and like
Yeah,
just
but
very capable.
grabbing Gennaro off the toilet.
Oh yeah,
Oh, by the way, a
Aurora,
roar.
Aurora,
He said, a roar.
Aurora.
But that's it. You never see him like chomp him halfway through the body and like thrash him around in his mouth.
Or when they find pieces of him.
I think this
Found
is
an
also
arrow.
Gennaro. Yeah.
Found it. I found him
Well,
too.
no, that might happen here actually. Yeah.
No, when they discover Malcolm, I think they just discover Malcolm and they cut it off.
So yeah, like, dude, the whole thing. So like, the T-Rex breaks up their vehicles, and then Alan Grant and the two kids run off, from the T-Rex paddock, and that is at the end of part 3.
Yeah.
We have
Two
one more
issues.
part.
Two
One more
issues of
part here to go.
19.
Their entire adventure through Jurassic Park to get back to the visitor center is one issue
panel
left
worth.
here.
Yeah, and it's just one panel to key scenes like the electrocution of Tim,
Yeah.
the Gallimimus scene, the Brachiosaurus scene is
Yeah.
just
So
one
here's
panel, 2 panels. That's it.
Gallimimus head loops.
Oh, that's the Dilophosaurus head loops. Yeah.
Dilophosaurus. I mean, yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So he's getting spit on. Yeah, they go through the whole thing here,
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. And then
and you
there's
see him drop the
can,
can.
and it lands in the mud.
I can't believe that they did the can. This is like a movie thing. Oh, what in the book? Do they put emphasis on him losing the can?
I don't know.
I don't
I
remember
don't
either.
think so. I only remember
But in
I think
the
it ends with his perspective of being eaten.
Okay, yeah. I think one of the craziest
killed
things
in
about
dreams.
the movie, and one of the biggest misses, is that can.
I
And
picked
the
that up in the
fact
games.
they do, well, at least
The
someone
entire
fucking picks
Telltale
it up.
games.
They put so much emphasis on that can in that movie getting covered up. You were sure that it was like Chekhov's gun kind of thing. You were sure. And then they went on to make two sequels to that, and then a whole nother trilogy, 5 more movies,
There's
and they
another one
never
coming out.
brought the upcoming 6th movie, and they never brought the can up once. The can had nothing to do with any of the future storylines. You would think,
Yeah. Yeah.
that they were setting that up for someone else to find this shit and take it from there. But never did they once use that can to set up any future story, which is
No.
ludicrous. Why did that happen?
No. They expand on that in the Telltale game series, but other than that.
Oh, that's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
Well, there was only like a 36-hour window, right? There was only enough refrigerant in there to last a little over a day.
Oh, I guess that's true. Good point. Still,
Yeah.
you would think that can would have come into play in some way.
Mhm.
Why put so much emphasis on it getting covered with mud?
They pay him millions of dollars. It's
By the
worth
way,
millions of dollars.
This is one of my prized possessions. This was
The
a San Diego Comic-Con toy release, and it's a Barbasol can, and it's actually, there's a little Dennis Nedry in there.
Oh, how cool. Is it the error message?
Yes, it is. Yeah, you can hear it.
word.
Hey, you can hear it. Let me get it up to my microphone. Wait.
I liked how they included that in the comic too.
Yes, they did. A big old his face on the computer is pretty sweet.
But you tell Gil Kane, like, okay, there's going
That's
to be
so
a computer scene here. And so what he does is just draw a clock on the computer screen. Like, what's the most advanced piece of technology I know? I was born in 1922. It is a fucking clock on the screen.
One of them new fanangled clocks.
Uh-huh. The most advanced piece of technology he knows about is put it on the computer screen.
That's funny. Oh man, yeah. So yeah. I mean, the pacing keeps up. Once you get to the end here, the pacing moves pretty good.
No, the pacing fucking speeds up. It's like they
Like
lube
the-
that shit.
I know.
After issue 3, it's
Yep,
just
there's the
right up the
T-Rex.
butt.
Yep, and then they're moving through. Then you got the Nedry scene. And it's pretty much in order for how the movie goes. Like, it's pretty close. They make some changes here, but it's pretty damn close to the movie. Did you notice any other major changes with anything? I know there was 1 or 2 other little things I noticed, but I didn't take notes and I forgot.
No, other than they kept Hammond alive in this And like even in the original drafts, I'm guessing
Well,
that they kept him
it's a
more.
movie adaptation. Oh yeah, yeah. I'm sure in the
Yeah,
original drafts, right?
because that's what they were working off of. If it was released in '93,
I wonder why they did that anyway.
keep him
Like
alive
yeah,
to keep that
they didn't
PG rating. I don't know.
they didn't want to see John Hammond punished at all. He doesn't get
He's
punished.
he's a
He doesn't
likable
get
character
punished.
though.
He doesn't get punished. That's so weird though that they turned him into like an affable kind of old man, likable character.
They turned him into a grandpa
But if you really
instead of
think about like
being,
what he did,
yeah,
it's like he shouldn't
yeah,
get off so scot free.
no,
And then they open in the next movie in Lost World, and he's doing pretty good still. I mean, he's old and dying,
yeah,
but
he's old enough.
he's still got his wealth. Like he didn't
Mm-hmm.
get sued.
There was no
Apparently,
congressional hearings.
there was no. He was still able to just carry on as a like
Business.
old rich philanthropist. I
Yeah.
guess. That doesn't make any sense at all.
Hey, by the way, Site B is still there, and everybody died.
Yeah, and I want
Yeah.
you to go.
And go, you know.
Yeah, I'm still doing it.
Yeah.
Oh fuck. Let's see. We get do we get sexy Ian Malcolm lounging with his shirt unbuttoned? That is the question.
That's what everybody's listening for. They listened
That's
to an
what
hour and a
everyone's
half
listening
of
for.
us. Yeah.
Yes. Where does fucking Goldblum take his shirt off? When does
Mhm.
that happen? And I don't think they don't do it. They don't do it up here as much. They must have not seen the movie first and soaked in that Goldblum magnetism or
Yeah.
something. They must have not. We all felt that, right?
Yeah.
When we saw it
Tingle
in
in our
all of its
giblets.
glory and majesty, but
Yeah.
they weren't able to experience that first. So this is the best you get, guys. This is the best you get.
Fully clothed with a splint.
There you have it. Still sexy.
Still sexy.
I have a theory about how to do a Goldblum voice. Like, I think I have a method.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Let's see,
So
try it.
if you what you have to do is you have to imagine Goldblum with like, the conceit in like a lot of like 80s sitcoms where so say like the boy sets up a date with a girl, but he's very nervous and he doesn't know what to say. So his cool friend says, "Don't worry, I've got this earpiece. You wear it to dinner and I'll talk into it and I'll tell you what to say." You've seen this play out,
Yeah.
right? It's a classic trope, right? So then you've got like Zach Morris talking into Screech's ear, right, at dinner. Am I right?
Yeah.
And it's all going wrong. And if you imagine that the setup is sort of like that like Jeff Goldblum always has a little earpiece in his ear with somebody else telling him what to say.
You mean like Bruce
Ima-
Willis?
Imagine that, and it's a little bit easier,
I'm
because
sure.
it sounds sometimes Jeff Goldblum will do these weird pauses as if he's waiting to hear what the speaker is saying to then say it his own way.
But still
You know?
continues a little bit of a sound there to buy himself some time.
Yeah, because he's waiting. He's waiting for Zach
yeah,
to
yeah.
and Zach is at home, and he's got distracted because Kelly came over in a bathing suit, and he's like, "Oh, Kelly, wait a minute. Oh no, that's not what I meant to say into the microphone. Screech, no, don't say that." You could tell, you could picture it. So yeah, Goldblum.
Picture it.
It. So it's like Goldblum is always wearing a little sound piece in his ear with someone else like telling him the cool thing to say.
But before Bruce Willis had publicly released that he was suffering from that disorder.
Oh yeah.
There were a lot of YouTube videos about that exact same kind of voice that Bruce Willis was using in these movies, and then they would zoom in and you could see the earpiece.
Oh, I've heard of that theory. Yeah. And I also heard that that's why he's always in a role where his character would be wearing an earpiece. like CIA or something,
Because he couldn't memorize his lines, so they would read them to him and he delivers.
That's wild.
So it's a thing.
Yeah.
And maybe Goldblum is like, you pay for Goldblum, you get Goldblum, and I don't read a script. Script reads me.
Goldblum has become like a fucking like mockery of himself these days. Become like
Well, that's what happened with Christopher Walken too.
he's become like I don't know what he is these days, like Willy Wonka or something. Like he's yeah, Christopher Walken. Sure, they became a parody of themselves, right? But so yeah, Goldblum. If you want to do a good Goldblum, you just have to act like you're waiting for something to come into
Waiting
your ear,
for a line to be delivered.
and then you get that line. You know, like that's what
Mhm.
you have to do. Is
Mhm.
pause like you're listening for someone to tell you what to say next.
Pauses and word fillers.
So that's my method on doing a Goldblum.
Yeah.
hmm Word fillers while you're waiting.
While you're waiting for the next line.
Yes. Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs.
Yeah.
There's a panic and chaos. Yeah.
So what's up, Henry? How about this comic? You know, it's funny that we said when we were setting this up, I was like, you know what, Henry? Let's get down and get one through real fast. You know, we'll make it a half hour. We'll just get down and dirty with it. Who are we fooling?
Right.
Is that even possible? Can we
Maybe
even
with a movie we
accomplish
hadn't
that?
seen, but
Maybe if it wasn't something so huge as Jurassic Park,
Mhm.
you're right.
yeah. If we would have
But
done
it is what it
Moonfall,
is. Exactly.
that would have been a 30-minute episode.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. They are what they are. They are what
Yeah.
they are. But
Yeah.
yeah, we're excited. Thank you for being here with us and going through this
Wait, you
comic
forgot the
with us.
rating.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. What is our
Are we
rating
gonna
system again?
bag and board it or
Ooh, that's
ignore
right.
it?
Just ignore it.
Yeah.
I
I know
mean,
exactly why I'd bag and board it.
I
It's
feel
the
I feel
first
like if I had the gimmick cover, you know, like that
the
amber
amber
amber chrome or whatever,
chrome, yeah.
I might put that in a bag and board and put it up on the wall. I mean, these are cool. Like just being a Jurassic Park fan in general, it's cool to have. But you know, 4 issues, bags and boards. I don't know if I'd waste my bags and boards.
I
All
would.
four.
I would.
Yeah.
These are legends doing Jurassic Park, one of like the most popular franchises in the world right now.
hmm
It's the first appearance. It's in all of these little like collectors apps and stuff. Like one
Well,
thing
I
that when you
guess
do that search,
would Zero be a first appearance also? Well, so
Zero
this
wasn't
was
released with the with the first issue. Zero's was released specifically with the trade. It was
oh,
not
of
on stands.
course. So like however much longer, half a year later or something.
Yeah. Whenever the trade
Okay.
came out, yeah. So issue 1 is the first appearance, and you know how these collectors go crazy for any kind of first. It's a good selling point for me. And yeah, I think I would bag and board all of it, the whole thing, issues 1
hmm
through 4.
hmm
Um, some of the art too, like just putting George Bettis's name on anything right now is a big selling point for a book.
hmm
That's why I always thought it was his art, not Gil Kane, but apparently he was the inker.
I don't love it. Yeah, I would say just ignore it.
Ignore it.
That's tough. That's tough to say. That's hard to say. I mean,
Yeah.
it's more nuanced than that. But our rating system is either like yes or no, basically.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I think I'm leaning a little more on no,
Excellent.
just because of all the stuff that I mentioned through the talk.
Yeah.
It bugs me and it takes me out of it. And like I said in the beginning, like Jurassic Park is such a movie ass movie that this is impossible. It's impossible. You can't do this. You know, you can't do this.
Right.
doesn't doesn't translate. It's like there's no comic word for that. And you know. Anyway, I would, however, like to. And now, did they expand Jurassic Park in comics beyond this much?
No. There
Was there
was
an
like additional
ongoing
stories. There was no
series?
ongoing. There was a lot of 4 parts, 2 parts.
Like mini
Um,
series that would happen.
mhm. And they were like, and some of them were written by like Steve Englehart.
Oh wow.
Um, covers by Michael Golden. So really old school DC stuff. There was one annual. There was a sequel that was 9 issues
This was
that came
all.
before Lost World.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask. This was all between 1 and 2 movies. Oh, that's
Mhm.
cool. I would like to check out some of those things.
It had Adam Hughes and John
Yeah,
Byrne
I would.
covers and
The adaptation for the movie, I'm not so hot on, but the idea expanded on in comics, that could be a lot of fun, and
yeah.
I'd be totally be interested in picking up some of that stuff.
In 2010, IDW picked up the franchise rights from Topps, and then they started doing 1, 2, 3 different series. There was Jurassic Park Redemption, Jurassic Park: The Devils in the Desert, and Jurassic Park: Dangerous Games, all of which were minis, and they never did anything again.
Hmm. Okay.
And now there's no, like, on the shelves, there is no Jurassic Park titles anywhere. I think IDW probably still owns the rights.
Mhm.
But we've got another Jurassic Park movie coming by Gareth Edwards, and it's got the Mahershala Ali.
I don't care. I
Yeah,
just
yeah,
just those movies suck so hard. I
they
have
do.
so many problems with them that I could
Yeah,
hardly even look at them anymore.
yeah.
I've watched 2 of them. I've watched 2 of 3, and I think
I
that's fair.
forgot them. I think I've
Yeah.
watched like all of them, and then just eventually forgot them immediately after because they're so generic.
Oh, I'll never forget that 3rd movie.
Which
That's
is
the one which is the one where they bring back all the legacy cast.
oh yeah, is that the third?
With the
I forgot.
locust, the
Yeah, with the
burning
locust.
locust and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that
Genetically
was a
modified insects. That's what I
train
think
wreck. That
about
also went
making Jurassic
nowhere.
Park.
Went
Yeah,
fucking nowhere. That storyline did not take off at all.
no.
Whatever. That's a whole nother discussion on how bad those movies are. But no, as long as they keep playing with that creative team and in that universe, I will not go to those movies.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck that. I don't need Chris Pratt, the Dino Whisperer.
I don't need Chris
I, need,
Pratt.
I don't need Chris Pratt in fucking anything. That's right. Anyway,
Go back to Parks and Rec.
I digress. I digress. Oh, by the way, price point only $9.95. Pretty fucking good
That's about how much you
on
can
this
get issue
trade.
1 for.
Pretty fucking good on
$10.
this trade. Yeah, even back in the early '90s, that was decent.
Yeah,
Hmm?
that's pretty standard. Now they're like $20, 19.99 or more.
Yeah, the standard is like
Mm-hmm.
16.99 or something,
Yeah,
right? For like
yeah.
a yeah. Anyway,
One storyline, one Batman storyline. It's
all right. So that's Jurassic Park. We'd love it if anyone would write in and let us know if they had an experience with this Jurassic Park comic. Let us know what you think about it.
yeah.
What else? Aroo! I keep seeing raptors making funny sounds. Look at this! Look at this raptor slipping and going roo!
Oh no,
Oh,
very
oh man,
comical.
it's like look at their dumb faces. I don't know, man. I can't. If I'm laughing too much, like I can't enjoy it. It's not a comedy. But here I am laughing. Anyway, that's Jurassic Park.
Awesome.
And that's Henry's synopsis of it. Awesome.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Now, if you're interested in, if you've seen the movie a bunch and you want different kinds of Jurassic Park, I don't know. If you haven't read the novel, go read the novel. Do that instead.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
First and second, and then go rewatch Jurassic Park.
Mostly just keep rewatching that movie.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't get much better.
Yeah.
They've been trying, and they've been trying for decades
Mm-hmm.
to match that bar, and I still don't think they have really. But yeah, till next
Yeah,
time. I don't know when that is or what it's going to be, but there will be a next time.
we'll figure it out.
Yeah. And we'll see you then. Till next time.
Sayonara.
Read your movies. What's our sign off? Do we have one?
Do
We'll
we
create
have one
one.
here? Read.
Do cool stuff. Don't be lame.